Hi guys, it's Michael from Aston Hearing and I'm back from holiday. I just recently went to Turkey and I'm going to give you a live review travelling with the ReSound Quattros and the charging case. So what I'm going to talk to you about is going through the airport, going on the plane, and obviously the battery life included in the rechargeable box and the Quattros themselves. Now going through airport security, I had no problems getting the charging case through in my carry-on bag. I thought I'd have to show them due to the inside design, and it's not like any other portable charging case to what you'd normally find. But good news is that I had no problem getting this through, even with it all in the same box as all of my other technology. Now, we went to Turkey, so we went from Heathrow to Istanbul and then to our final destination. And I didn't get asked about my hearing aids at all, apart from when I was in Istanbul. The security personnel that I was with going through the security section, she only asked if I had an operation on my ears because she could see the wire coming out. Normally people don't really notice, but it is their job to be observant, of course. And I just said, no, they're just my hearing aids, and I took them out to show her, tried to explain that without them I wouldn't be able to hear what she was saying, which she had no problem with, and that was that. On the plane you might find that it is difficult to hear some people, especially the members of staff in the aisles, especially if you're sitting next to the window, which I was. You can use your phone on the ReSound app to change the bass, middle and treble to try and hear people more, but you cannot use that during takeoff or landing because that uses Bluetooth. Now moving on to battery life and the charging box, I did do a full charge on the box and the hearing aid before we left, so I knew that I would have no problem getting there. Now when we were there, I did manually turn off my hearing aid for the whole week, and that just made it better, and also I knew I'd have enough battery left over in the case for emergencies. Now, I spent most of the time streaming through my hearing aids on the holiday, listening to audiobooks, and even with that I still had a full day of battery in my hearing aids, and the first charge of the battery from when I left did actually last for 3 days when I manually turned them off. Now, to manually turn off your hearing aid, you just need to press the button on the top of your hearing aid, hold it down, and I believe it does say 5 seconds in the manual, but I will keep the button pressed down until the hearing aid does turn off, and that's roughly around 8 seconds, and then you can take your hearing aids out. Obviously, if you were using the charging case, you wouldn't have to manually turn off your hearing aid, and when you put the hearing aid into the case, it does turn off and then turn on when you put the hearing aids back in. When you're putting the hearing aid back in from the charging case, it does take a couple of seconds. I have noticed it the right length of time, so by the time I've got them in my ears, they are turned on. The hotel that we stayed at was a kind of party hotel, so there was a pool and obviously loud music playing throughout the day, non-stop. So you might find that with the ReSound Quattros or any kind of hearing aid, that when you're in those kind of environments for certain lengths of time, you do start to get a headache and you simply just want to turn off your hearing aid. Now with the ReSound Quattros and the app on your phone, you can actually change, as I said before, the bass, middle and treble to soften all of those loud sounds so that it's more comfortable for you without actually having to turn off your hearing aid, which is much better, especially if you're on holiday with a group of people. Now I am going to talk a little bit about improvements that I'd like to see with the charging case, especially if they do a second generation, and also some improvements on the Apple software for future updates. Now with the ReSound charging case, I do have no problems with it myself. However, I do think that with the indicators or where you put the hearing aids in the case, that if you are doing it in the dark, some people may struggle to find where you need to put them. And simply using different material with the indicators to make them glow in the dark, or even parts of the case itself, it would make it much easier for someone to put the hearing aids in the charging case at night. One of my favourite parts about the charging case is that there is a part for your speaker wires to go, and as I got custom moles on mine, it does look rather slick when it's all in the charging case. One of the other things that I would like to see, hopefully in a next update on the charging case, is a button that you can press just to get those indicators lighting up. They do come up when you put the hearing aid in the case and shows you how much charge is in them, but it would be nice to get that up at any point in time. Now, to check your hearing aid when they are charging, you can look in the ReSound app in the status menu, in the status page, and that will show you the length, the percentage of charge that is in the hearing aid at that moment in time as well. One of the updates that I'm looking for in Apple software is the ability to seamlessly transfer your hearing aid from your iPhone or your main device to a secondary device such as an iPad, and so you can stream music or watch videos from a different device. At the moment you are supposed to be allowed to do it, but it doesn't work as it should, and I do recommend to clients that I talk to only connect the hearing aid to the main device that they'll be using. You can use the hearing aids on a secondary device, but I would recommend taking the hearing aids off the main device and then setting them up on the secondary device manually. You'll just have to do that vice versa when you want to change back. So that's all I got time for today. Next week I will be doing a different kind of video, but I'll definitely bring you an update on the ReSound Quattros then, if I find anything or have any problems, and I will let you guys know what could help you out the most when you get your hands on the ReSound Quattros